When I was going through all of my stuff, I had no idea I was in perimenopause. I had no idea that what I was going through was normal, nor did I know how to address it, because all the tricks of the trade, being a health coach all these years, none of them worked. And I'm like, wow, how these always work. I've been in health and wellness a long time. All these little tricks, they always work. None of them did. I was completely swiped, and it took me down. It took me down in the worst possible way. I was non-functioning for a while. My family will tell you I literally checked out. I was MIA for a while. And the problem was I didn't know what was going on with myself, and I didn't know how to address those issues. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm reading from a book. I have several resources that I'm going to talk about tonight. And one of them is, this book is called The New Menopause. It's by Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She is an OBGYN. She's a certified OBGYN. She is a certified culinary medicine specialist. She's a certified menopause specialist, and she's written this book. And I absolutely find this mind-blowing. In the first chapter of the book, she talks about the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And it's a lot more than just hot flashes. So I'm going to read these to you because this kind of blew me away. Here we go. So you're between the ages of 35 and 55, and you're trucking along, and pay attention, because if this is something that's going on with you, I want you to be able to have a real conversation around this, with your friends, with your family, with your physicians, because it really is something that affects us. So number one, acid reflux or GERD. Acid reflux, really? Okay. Acne, alcohol intolerances, anxiety. I'm going to stop on anxiety because that was one of the things that blew me away. I was having anxiety that was literally wrecking my body. I would get up in the morning, walk into the kitchen, and I would start trembling. And the only thing going on in my life was that I was going to fix myself a cup of tea. There was no reason for my body to be in a state of crisis, but it felt like a crisis. And I couldn't figure out why. My breathing would change. I was like, what is going on with me? Anxiety is for people that have a stressful situation, right? Anxiety is for people that don't have support, right? Anxiety is for people that, are in trouble. And none of that was going on in my life. I was walking to the kitchen to fix a cup of tea, and I would be struck with these panic attacks and this anxiety. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on with me? It totally shocked me. So anyway, anxiety, I'm going to keep reading. Joint pain. That's another thing that caught me off guard. I have been doing and practicing yoga my whole adult life. Love yoga. Suddenly every yoga, this is somebody who's doing regular daily exercise, somebody who has been practicing yoga on a regular daily basis, not just for years, but for decades. And all of a sudden my body ached everywhere. I had difficulty getting into yoga positions, had difficulty getting off the couch, had difficulty sitting down on the couch. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 45 years old. What is going on with me? Craziness. I'm going to keep going. Arthritis, asthma, autoimmune disease, bloating, body composition change, belly fat, body odor, brain fog. This one was huge for me. Having trouble finishing sentences, having problems remembering appointments, forgetting to pick my kids up from school. What the hell? How do you forget to pick your kids up from school? Brain fog. Courtney, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I'm definitely experiencing that. It's just like, wait, what was I just talking about? Or what did I walk over here for? Or what was I going to text this person about? And it's just, and I'm kind of scattered. I am kind of scattered about things. And it's like, whoa, it's a trip.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And especially when you pride yourself as being somebody who's organized and, I've got my shit together, and suddenly my shit is not together. So yes, brain fog. Courtney, thanks for sharing. And I'm going to want you to weigh in. Breast tenderness or breast soreness, brittle nails, burning sensation of the mouth or tongue, chronic fatigue. That one was big for me. I was struggling to get out of bed. It didn't matter how many hours of sleep I had at night. A lot of difficulty with fatigue. crawling skin sensations, decreased desire for sex, dental problems, depression, difficulty concentrating, dizzy spells, dry or itchy eyes, dry mouth, dry skin, eczema, electric shock sensations anywhere in your body, fatigue, fibromyalgia, frozen shoulder. I'm going to talk about this one for a minute because it showed up big time in my yoga practices. I used to always be able to put my hands above my head and put my hands behind my back, and suddenly I can't reach behind my back. I'm like, aren't people that practice yoga on a day-to-day basis supposed to be limber enough to reach their hands behind their back? No, could not. I couldn't even put my hands above my head. You know how you lay back on your pillow and you put your hands behind your head? Could not put my hands behind my head while laying on the bed. Frozen shoulder. Shocking to me. By the way, I didn't know this was a symptom. Frozen shoulder, urinary infections, headaches, heart palpitations, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, hot flashes, incontinence, insulin resistance, irritable bowel syndrome, irritability, itchy ears, itchy skin, kidney stones, memory issues, menstrual cycle changes, that one we pretty much all know about, mental health disorders, migraines, mood changes, muscle aches and pains, night sweats, non-alcohol fatty liver disease, osteoporosis, pain with intercourse, muscle loss, sleep apnea, sleep disturbances, thinning hair, thinning skin, tingling of the extremities, tinnitus, ringing of the ears, TMJ, unwanted hair growth, whiskers, urinary tract infections again, vaginal dryness, vertigo, weight gain, and wrinkles. Thank you for letting me read that long list. I wanted to talk about that because I know it took up a long time of the podcast, but I was blown away when I first started studying perimenopause and menopause that all of this stuff that I couldn't figure out was related to this change in our hormones. I mean, I was like, seriously, I eat really, really healthy. Why am I having bloating? What is going on? I exercise daily. Why can't I sleep at night? So, Courtney, I want you to weigh in. Did any of those surprise you?
Oh, the sleeping stuff, for sure. Although lately I've been sleeping really well and I'm so grateful. But, it ebbs and flows. Alcohol intolerance. I don't drink that much. And now if I do have an opportunity to have a drink, I think, do I want to have a drink or do I want to sleep well tonight?
Yes.
Because it does affect my sleep, but then sometimes it doesn't. So the intolerance thing is up and down, but it makes me question. I'm not a big drinker anyway. Maybe I'll have something once a month, or on a special occasion I'll imbibe in that unfortunate poison, but it's fun at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So I definitely get that. And something I've been noticing for the past couple of months is like right around the time that I ovulate or I am supposed to ovulate, I get bloated and constipated.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that's a lot of fun. Thank goodness for Smooth Move tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's funny because you don't really realize. So I want to talk about your fluctuations because mine were the same way. I was fine some days and there are some weeks and then there's other times where I wasn't fine. And you kind of feel like you're losing your mind, right? And the other thing that the reason I wanted to list all these symptoms is because if I have a friend and we're going out to dinner together and I'm talking about, I can't lift my shoulders are frozen and I can't lift my hands above my head, or I'm having heart palpitations. And my friend, who's also going through perimenopause, is not having any of that. She might be having, maybe some acid reflux or maybe struggle with constipation. And we can't relate to each other, right? Because my stuff isn't anything like her stuff. So I'm not normal, right? So what's wrong with me? No, you know what I'm saying? Like, we lack this ability to connect because the symptoms are so vast and so varied that everybody goes through this transition differently. And so we're reaching out to our friends and saying, you know, what's really bothering me is I'm struggling with low sex drive. And then you have another friend that's like, oh, hell no. Ever since I've gotten to this stage in my life, I can't get enough sex. And you're like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? And the reason for that, so let's talk about this. Perimenopause is that time when your estrogen and progesterone slowly start to decline. But it's not one perfect little smooth slide all the way down. It literally can vary from day to day. And it doesn't follow the normal cycles that we did when we were, you know, in our younger years. And so that's why, Courtney, sometimes you said you feel fine. And sometimes you can have an alcoholic beverage. You're totally fine. And sometimes it affects your sleep. And it's because those estrogen and progesterone levels, specifically estrogen does a massive decline, but progesterone's in there too. They vary from day to day, month to month, and year to year. And you guys, this can go on for 7 to 10 years. So we go to our practitioners and we say, I don't know what's going on with me, but I literally, the doctor that I'm reading, Dr. Mary Claire, she described this as the zone of chaos. Can you relate to that, Courtney?
Relate to that 100%.
Yes.
Wow, it is the zone of chaos. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She knows.
Right. Well, and the questioning in your mind, right? So what am I doing wrong? So a lot of it has to do, you know, with our, you know, our heritage, you know, and one of the things I want to talk a little bit about that is that our generation of parents did not talk about menopause. We did not talk about girl stuff. We did not talk about tampons and condoms and, you know, anything like that. I would go over to my girlfriend's house and her mom would say, honey, I'm heading to the store. Do you need any unmentionables? And that was the word she would use. And she was asking one of my close friends, do you need tampons? Do you need pads? But we called them unmentionables. And the reason I bring this up is that there have been generations and generations where we've not talked about these symptoms. And so now our generation, Courtney, you, me, we're arriving here without anybody ever sharing with us what they were going through. You know, mood swings, depression, anxiety, irritability, low sex drive. I want to kill my husband. I've been happily married for 30 years, but today is the day we're ending it all because I can't take it any longer. What is wrong with me? He seems to be the same nice man that I've known for the last 3 decades, but today I can't take it. I have to walk away. And we go through this crazy zone of chaos, and it can last for 7 to 10 years. So I really wanted to bring that up. And Courtney, did your parents, did your aunts, did anybody in your life talk about perimenopause or menopause? Did they tell you, was there an open conversation in your family about it?
Not really, but I remember asking my mother, you know, when she had menopause and did she have any symptoms? And she told me, and she said she had no symptoms. But I remember being younger and listening to some of the matriarchs in my family, that are my mom and her second cousins, all complaining that, man, after menopause, my breasts just got so big. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want that for myself.
Right.
And it's true. You know, I look at them and I'm like, man, I want to stay with my nice, small, manageable size.
Right.
I'm happy with that. And I'm going to do all that I can to do that with diet and exercise. But, you know, I am at the mercy of what's going on with my hormones. I think there are ways to combat it. And maybe we'll bring up fasting. Dr. Mindy Peltz talks a lot about fasting to get through menopause. And I really like her words and what she talks about and her her point of view about that.
Absolutely.
Stuff. I think there are ways, we just need to fine tune it because there hasn't been enough time spent fine tuning. So we are on the frontier of this. We women entering the perimenopause and menopausal stages right now. So it's, in a way, it's really exciting.